What's up, Eugene?
What's up, Eddie? Let's do a quick intro because the producer messed up the previous intro.
And we cannot be spontaneous two times in a row.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the same jokes twice.
Yeah,
I'll
it
say
won't
them
work.
10 times, but I won't say them twice. Anyway, he's Eddie.
That's Eugene.
And we are the middle-aged barbarians.
Roll intro.
Roll the intro. So today's episode, we kind of wanted to do a little housekeeping, clean up the little odds and ends and tidbits that have not been, directly spoken of in the previous series of videos, which, by the way, this will be the last 2024 update video. We'll probably be going back to videos once or twice a week. Don't miss us.
Yeah, we'll talk about some more evergreen subjects and...
we've got a lot of stuff planned, but we're going to slow it down a little bit because we have been mass producing these in a way. But we did want to talk about, like I mentioned, tidbits, odds and ends, like the artwork,
spellcasting
changes to
system,
spellcasting, crafting, and, just our general impressions on what we've seen so far in this 2024 update. We mentioned crafting. Thank you. We mentioned crafting. Just basically, there is going to be crafting. It was kind of lackluster, in my opinion, the way they presented it. I really would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit more detail. But
Yeah, they're probably waiting till the actual books are out to give us the actual rules on how to do the stuff. But what they described is that you're going to have tools for everything, and you can do checks, and a lot of spells are going to interact with crafting rules. So,
crafting I've always seen as a downtime activity.
yes.
I've never really seen it as something very active. I don't know if I mentioned this before on one of the videos that we recorded, or if this was like with you or actually somebody else. There was only one instance where I actually saw somebody use crafting as an active part of the campaign, and it was in a podcast. It was a Stinky Dragon podcast. I don't know you guys, if you heard of Stinky Dragon, shout out to the guys and gals at Stinky Dragon. It's pretty good, fun podcast. So they actually had to build a MacGuffin. And to build the MacGuffin, they had each of the players do a different part of the building process. I mean, it's basically reduced the skill checks, and then they'll add bonuses if they had done something before or whatever. But that's the only time I actually remember hearing or seeing. I've never done it in an actual game.
Used it as a wizard in some games, or in the third edition rules, and especially for scrolls. That's where I used it.
But actively during the game session, you'd say, I'm taking an hour of game time to write scrolls?
No. Just as a downtime activity, like you said.
Yeah, it's whatever. But, maybe it'll be something fun.
No, I actually did do it as a preparation for, like, a really specific niche spell. Remember, we didn't have ritual spells back in the day, but a really specific niche spell that we might have needed to use. I had, and thank God I did. We had to use I made a couple of scrolls of that spell. That's the only time I remember actually doing it for that, and scroll, not even like more items, because it was not fun, I guess.
Maybe they'll find a way to make it fun. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens when the book comes out in September. We were talking a bit about spells as well. Usually the big changes are going to be that there will be revised and extended spell lists.
New spell lists, and the spell list is going to be easier to reference in some manner. Speaking of my...
we'll have to see how they actually do the whole layout of the classes with access to the spells and see if what they promise is true, that it'll be a much easier document to do a quick reference and not have to go back and forth. We'll see.
Back in the day with SRTs, it was really easy to peruse using hyperlinks. So I don't know how it could be laid out in a book. But they're professionals of that. So I guess we'll have to see.
And speaking about professional layouts, what we had started talking about before the producer so violently didn't record what we were doing, we had started talking about the art in the book and the way it was, how can you say this, designed.
Very, very designed, yes. It's very beautiful. It gives out a lot of results, but it has a cost. And the cost is that it's kind of just one universal vision, a very particular, very organized, very well thought out vision. But
like you mentioned, it's the way it was probably designed or commissioned or thought out lacks certain artistic spontaneity.
Yes, no, everything.
If that I'm paraphrasing what you said before, but that's what I thought was it's not like a genuine like this is my art of this. Rather, this is designed in a certain way to evoke a certain idea or a certain message or a certain way of doing stuff.
Completely. I mean, for instance, something very simple that you can see from just the pieces that are out. If you notice, even where the colors are very dark, where supposedly it's night or so forth, the contrast is not done with blacks. It doesn't have like these really intense blacks, this really high contrast. Everything is very kind of tending to vibrant, a little bit pastel.
A lot of pastels.
And that is done because, I mean, as a designer, that's how I would interpret it. That's kind of done because that aesthetic is very popular with younger generations.
Okay.
So they're kind of...
Oh, this is definitely geared to younger generations.
Yeah, this is trying to appeal to Gen Z and...
The alphas?
The C, sorry, for Americans.
The Gen Zs, the skibbities, and the alphas.
Yes. And, I mean, we're Captain Italians to us middle-aged fellas, but... I mean, I find it interesting. It's not that offensive to me, but it's interesting. And I'm guessing that a lot of the themes that you see in the books, well, are in the art themselves because it has a very high ideological charge. I won't deny that. That is very true. You use the word agenda.
Oh, there's definitely something there.
Something there? I mean, I wouldn't say
nothing
that
nefarious necessarily, but there is definitely an agenda in the way they produce this artwork.
Yeah, it's a different thing. I mean, and you see it on the
Although,
team.
Point in favor, there was a book that they released not too long ago. Was it something about Tempest? What was that book? There was a book where the whole cover was actually like AI art, and they got a whole lot of shit because of it. I think I'm pretty sure we have that somewhere around here. I'm not going to get up and look for it because I'm not going to grace y'all with my butt crack, but
It's on the other room.
It's in the other room. Yeah, so they had gotten a lot of blowback or shit for using AI generated art, and something that they mentioned here was this is all done by people.
Oh, it looks. Yeah, it's very well done.
Which is good. I mean, that's I guess a positive.
Yeah, the art is very well done. It's just very, very art directed.
Yeah.
I mean, the art director is the woman who spoke most of the video. That and the main layout person.
What was her name? It was
It was a 2-syllable name, and I forgot. Yeah, but she has
her cheeks hurt, man.
What?
Her cheeks were making me hurt. She was smiling throughout that whole interview, man. Then
Yeah, she seems nice, but
I don't know if we can say that. I don't know if that's. No, it's okay. You probably won't appear on the microphone. Very nice person.
yeah, seems so. Yeah, and I checked like her trajectory. I mean, she has done this for like 20 odd years. Has been working in this thing. Because I also like Magic a lot, Magic the Gathering, which is also owned by Hasbro and so on Wizards. And she is actually the art director, not just of Dungeons and Dragons, but of Wizards.
Oh, okay.
So that's something else. They have these very interesting creative teams where they have a lot of synergy between the artists that get the art commissioned, the in-house people, and they have sort of a writing director, who's the people who actually not just write the rules, but write the lore.
Okay.
And you can see that. I mean, there's this whole thing of a new philosophy. They didn't say it explicitly. It would be interesting to get the hands on those inner documents. Mm-hmm. But a lot of them are probably, how would I say it, not for public consumption. So could be controversial. I mean, I know myself in my work, I do that. I sometimes write stuff that is, if the clients or the public read it would be kind of offended. But so it's really
funny thing is they haven't really gotten much into the lore of the setting. I think the only thing I've heard is that like the DM guide is going to have a certain base in it, but based in Greyhawk.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
It does, except if they had this whole controversial thing with the legacy creators and having to put trigger warnings in front of everything, then why are they going to go back to I mean, I know why, because it's already
popular,
made.
yes.
It's famous. It's what pays the bills. But they're going to go back into Greyhawk. But then what are they going to do if it was made by these problematic people, which I don't agree with that statement.
I mean,
So it'd be interesting to see what happens. I'm a little worried with the lore of Greyhawk, with the deities, with the kingdoms, with the political situations that were created back in the day.
yeah, of course. And it seems that they're kind of trying to add a lot of cultural texture to everything. Not just, that's the way I would call it. Not just
Los Orcos.
Los Orcos.
That's what I'm
I
gonna
mean,
start
that
calling
looks
them.
very cool. And we saw like,
But does it really? I don't think it looks very cool. I mean, it's drawn beautifully, but when I think orcs, I'm not thinking spiritual warriors in the middle of a desert.
yeah,
I'm thinking, and somebody mentioned this in one of the previous videos, and thank you for saying it. The best orcs are oh my God, what did this guy write? Yeah, the Warcraft orcs, the big, hulking, great, and menacing guys with big, nasty teeth. That's a goddamn orc. And the question was, what do you think Grumsh would do if he saw these new orcs? And the guy answered, I stomp them out. And I wholeheartedly agree.
yes, of course.
But that's just the ramblings of a lunatic, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing they didn't talk about that, but I'm guessing if you're trying to appeal to do this sort of more culture is important in the campaign.
I mentioned it in the clerics. Who or what or why are the gods that they're going to present?
Yeah, what I'm asking is they didn't mention it. Hopefully, it is there. How are we going to solve social conflicts via skills? Is there going to be like a rules for that? Because obviously, that's going to be a focus. I mean, it's not bad, but
Oh no, you're gonna twerk your way out of conflict every battle with your college
well,
of
if
dance
I'm a
bard.
dance bard, yes, and I can take part of my twerking motion, do a little bit of damage on the side.
You could unarmed twerk damage them. You can
That's
clap them cheeks and deal 1d6 damage.
that's hilarious.
God damn, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but it is very different. And that's something that I've spoken with a lot of other friends. Why not just make the whole thing different? Go the whole way.
Because then you won't have the IP.
Yeah, that's what I dislike. The forcing you to peg a square in a hole in a.
Oh, we mentioned this in the if this was for us video. I mean, we're not bitching. I'm not complaining. I'm gonna read it. If I want to play it, I'll play it. If not, I won't. I mean, nobody's forcing me to get into it. But I just like critiquing.
I mean, in other words, where's the content if we don't bitch a little bit about it, right?
Now, what are you most looking forward to from what you've seen so far?
Most looking forward to, just the whole. I mean, reading the actual final rules, particularly how they're gonna solve combat, how they're gonna solve what I just said, the skills, how they're gonna work with that.
And class-wise, is there any one or two particular classes that?
Well, the dancing bard sounds.
Oh, you were serious about that. I'm
that
sorry.
sounds
Okay.
hilarious, and I would love to play that. Yeah, that sounds like friggin' awesome. Or besides that, obviously wizards are always a favorite of mine. But I'm thinking the way they solve new martial classes kind of brings me sense. If the ranger is actually as bad as it seems on first glance, I'm not.
Oh, I know people were complaining about the paladin. We'll have to see if that actually comes out or if they rework something in an errata.
Or maybe, like we said, the synergies work differently now that they're applied with the actual rules. And maybe it's better than that. Yeah, but how everything works, I mean, because I'm probably going to make more NPCs than actual player characters. So
That's one thing I'm looking forward to is using all these overpowered player skills against the players.
yeah, that sounds.
They're going to suffer, man.
That sounds hilarious. You can do some very wicked things with synergies between them.
Especially with all the martial weapon proficiency abilities and stuff that you can add. And then you add the unarmed strike that you can push, shove, pull, trip, knock down, poison, flip around, and smack them with your butt cheeks. You know, you can do a lot
I'm
of...
picturing an antagonist party, because probably it's going to be bad to call them evil. They can just be your antagonists.
Okay.
Comprised of a monk, a dancing bard, and an archer. And the dancing bard and the monk are just messing around the players, and the archer and a spellcaster are just
They're
out
just
of
bombing
range, messing with the players. How do you solve that? That's, I mean,
You can't, because your characters are going to be thrown on the floor and pushed around.
yeah. Or man, or maybe you come up with something, but that'd be pretty fun.
I don't know. I'm actually. I want to see what actually happens with the paladin. I think a little bit of a nerf won't really hurt him that much. It would suck if you can counterspell their main ability. We'll see if that actually works out the way people have been mentioning.
Maybe they'll do something sort of divine intervention-ish, like the deity.
You can't counterspell, even though it's a spell. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean,
I am curious to try out there's the Barbarian of the World Tree. I think that seemed quite powerful. If I'm remembering correctly, it was the one that I was like, oh, gosh, dang. It looked pretty interesting. I don't know. We'll see. We'll wait and see. I'm not too fond of the surprise round being taken out. I don't know how that would work if you can just home roll it back in, if that would unbalance everything. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we've mentioned this before. It's your game. You can
homebrew a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you can mix and match and change it and do
What I
whatever
just said
you
about the
want.
paladin, you can make it so like,
Yeah.
deities, the force of the deity forbids you to.
So we'll have to see. We're still, about a month away from having the book, probably.
I'm also curious about the crafting rules as well. That kind of seems like you could do some fun stuff with that.
Hopefully. But we'll see. We're getting the red light from the producer, so we'll cut this video out now. Hopefully he recorded the audio and everything this time around.
Yeah, he's tossing
He's
the
giving
thumbs
us the
up,
thumbs
so
up.
that's good.
As per usual, leave us your likes, your subscriptions, leave us your comments, leave us your complaints, leave us your suggestions.
What are you waiting for? What are you expecting the most?
Yeah, or what are you disliking the most? Not usually. There's probably a lot more people wanting to tell us what they dislike than what they like.
Yeah, most likely, because it's good to bitch a little bit.
Yeah. We've got, as we've mentioned ad nauseum, I don't like doing this, but they tell us that we have to do this every time. Come follow us on TikTok. Come follow us on Instagram. Come chat with us on the Discord. All the links are below. That's his hand. That's my hand. All
Looks
our
like
hands.
hell with this
We
red
can look
light.
over at this camera and just go like down. Allá abajo, güey. So go check us out and
As usual.
raid responsibly.
Yes, and take care.
Yes. And we haven't said this in a while, but we do love you guys.
Yeah, we love you.
And,
Little Korean style heart. Now that everything's more inclusive and culturally diverse and textured.
just don't appropriate it. We'll see you on next episode. Take care. Bye.
Roll